Hi everybody, welcome to the Actors Academy. Thank you for tuning in today. Today we're going to be talking about a tool that you can use for your acting. So, as actors, we know that our whole goal is one, to be realistic. Should be every actor's goal, is to always be real with your acting. Now, we also have to know the world that we're in, so we have to know that realistic acting in Disney Channel is different than a show on HBO, or different from a Marvel movie, or a DC movie. They're all acting, and they're doing very excellent in the roles that they're in, but you have to know how you're acting on Game of Thrones is not necessarily how you can act on Disney Channel. People will think you're too serious or you're too dark, and it won't work. If your acting style on Disney Channel, how you act, where everything's a little bit bigger, and you go onto an HBO show and you're acting the same way as if you were on Disney Channel, well, people are going to watch you on HBO and think, wow, you're a little bit big, tone it down a little bit. You don't have to, exclaim it to the whole room. You're just talking with a person one-on-one. So we have to realize that we're trying to be realistic in the world that we're in. That's the first thing. But now, sometimes it's tricky, so we have to have tools. And we've talked about a few different tools that you can use on this channel to help get you into a scene if something isn't working. So we're going to be talking about a new tool today, and this tool is talking about entrances and exits. So the easiest way to think about this is we're going to build a scene for ourselves. So there's going to be this scene, and it's going to be you can be a guy or a girl, doesn't matter. You're in a factory, and you're going to be asking your boss for a raise. That's all it is. It's a very simple scene. Now, when this scene is shot, and if you're going to be watching it on a movie or a TV show, it's just going to show you walking into the scene and asking your boss for a raise. Now, through this process though, you're realizing that the scene isn't really working. It's not turning out the way you want. You know it as yourself, as the actor, and maybe your director's also telling you and saying, hey, the scene that we're working on, it's not really flourishing that much. We're not doing so well. We have to do something a little bit different. What you can do to help yourself, and this is what some actors like to do a lot, and we'll talk about the extremes that you can go with this tool. Remember, it's a tool. It's not necessarily how you should build your whole acting style off of, but it's a tool that can help you. And there's many different tools. This is just one tool. It's kind of like if you're building a house. Sometimes you're going to need a nail gun. Sometimes you're going to need a screw gun. Sometimes you're going to need just a screwdriver, just a hammer. You're going to need different tools for different situations. So this is a tool here. This tool, entrances and exits, talks about what's happening before the scene and what's happening after the scene. So we'll start with the entrance. The entrance is what happens before the scene. Yes, we know in the scene we're going to see you walk through the door, have the interaction with your boss, asking for a raise. But what we don't see is what happens beforehand. And what you should do as the actor for this tool is figure out what happened beforehand, because whatever happened beforehand will affect how you are in the scene. So for example, you have to ask your boss for a raise, okay? Let's imagine that before you walk in this room, you look at the lotto ticket and you see that you've just won the lotto. You've won the lottery, and now you will have next month $2 million in your bank account. But for whatever reason, you still want to go and ask your boss for a raise. Well, when you walk into this scene, you're going to be very confident in yourself. You're not going to be nervous, scared, or anything, because in a month or two, you're going to have $2 million. So you're going to walk in, and you're going to have no problem going and asking your boss for a raise because of what happened beforehand. But now let's say, though, for this scene, in the script, it's saying you come in, and you're very unsure of yourself, you're nervous, and you're kind of scared to ask your boss the question, hey, can I have a raise? Well, then you have to adjust the backstory to help fit the scene, okay? So something that you could do then, you'd think, okay, if this is what's going to happen when I'm in the room talking with my boss, how can I exemplify that within my previous backstory here for what happened before, for my entrance? And you can think, okay, well, maybe this is what happened. You're in the factory, you've been working all day, you're very tired, and everything's been going wrong. You haven't met your quota for the day. The people you work with have been making fun of you. You realize that you lost your lunch, so you didn't even get to eat for the day. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong. You could even add on to that. You could say that you have a crush working at this factory, and you just expressed your love to your crush, and then they turned you down. Okay, so everything goes wrong throughout this day. Now you have to go and ask your boss for the raise. Well, now, when you go into that scene, it's going to be far different than before when you had a lotto ticket. Now when you go into the scene, you're going to be asking your boss for a raise, and you haven't even met your quota for the day, nothing's been going right. How is this situation going to go right? So now when you're asking your boss for the raise, it's going to be a lot different. So this is how the entrance can affect what happens in the scene. Again, you can choose the entrance. You can decide, hey, you know, in the scene, you're supposed to be very happy and confident when you walk in. Well, then you know, okay, let's say I won the lotto beforehand. Maybe that's what will help you in the scene. You can adjust and figure out whatever you want for your backstory. You get to choose. But now, the end also affects you. This is what we would refer to as the exit. This is how the exit works. So, you have your entrance. Now you have to know what's going to happen after the scene. And this is something that you will know. It may not say in the script or the scene. We may skip a few days. We don't know. But in here, you get to decide what will happen next in your own head. You'll know. So you know, okay, you're going to go. You're going to ask your boss for a raise. But you also know that after you leave here, there's someone else who offered you a job that pays twice as much than you make here. Now, when you're going to ask your boss for a raise, you don't even care if they meet that same price. You just want respect. That's your whole goal. You want your boss to respect you as much as you respect your boss, okay? But now you know if your boss doesn't respect you, then you're going to leave, you're going to go to the new job, and you're going to make twice as much than you make right now. That will affect the scene when you go and you're having this interaction with your boss. So even though if everything goes wrong, right, through your entrance, we talked about the entrance, everything went wrong through the day, okay, you didn't meet your quota, all that stuff. Now you're going to have this interaction with your boss. Well, now you may still be tired. You may still have everything that happened throughout the day here. And you have to ask your boss for a raise. You don't know what your boss is going to say. But you also know after you leave this room, you're either going to get a raise from your boss or you're going to accept a new job that's going to pay you twice as much. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to have a confidence that will also be in the scene with you. But you also have what happened beforehand with your entrance and what's going to happen at the end with the exit. Now, depending on how the scene goes, you could also say, no, you know, there's no confidence at all in this character within the scene. Well, then you change your exit. And you could say, okay, for my exit, I'm going to go home and I'm going to be alone. I'm going to have dinner alone. I'm going to watch TV alone. And then I'm going to go to sleep alone. You can adjust whatever you want your entrance to be and what you want your exit to be to fit the scene that you're in. This is a tool that will help actors. Now, a lot of actors will do this, and it depends on the degree you want to do this. For me, when I'm doing this, I think about it all in my head. I think, okay, this is what happened beforehand. This is what I'll have happen afterwards. If I get into a bind. What other actors like to do, though, sometimes, they will write it out. And actors will sometimes write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of a backstory of what happened beforehand, and then an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of what happened after. Some actors, they like to do a lot of writing like that. It can help, and it works for some actors, and if it works for you, then maybe you should include that into your work. I like to work a lot quicker, so I like to just think about, okay, this is what happens beforehand, this is what happens after. It's not always easy to do that at first, and maybe you have to start out writing it, and then you get used to knowing, okay, this is what happened beforehand for the entrance, this is what's going to happen for the exit of the scene. You get to decide on whatever works better for you, but this is a tool that you can use to help yourself. Now remember, it's a tool, okay? So just because it's a tool does not mean that this is what you have to base your whole acting philosophy and style off of. It's just a tool to help you if you get into a bind and something's not working in the scene for you. Okay? So I hope this makes sense to you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so you can be up to date with everything. Give this video a thumbs up if it helps you. Also, I'll be leaving the 10-hour acting masterclass down in the description below and also in the comment section. If you guys are interested in that, it takes 2 minutes to sign up. And I'll also be leaving down there the 10 acting resume templates as well. Alrighty? See you guys next time. Bye guys.